Okay, today I'm going to be doing another book review. I didn't even say hi yet. Hi! I'm going to be doing another book review today because I just think book reviews are fun and I hope you like them, and if you don't, that's totally cool with me. You don't have to watch them, just skip them when they come out, or just listen to them to hear my voice because I know it's so beautiful. I'm going to be doing a book review on Divergent by Veronica Roth, and this again is a series. I just did Hunger Games, the first book in the Hunger Games, so this is the first book in the Divergent series. And like I said from the Hunger Games one, if you saw that one, and if you haven't, I'll link it down below. If you want me to do the rest of the series, just ask and I will do it because I love talking about these books because they're so good. This one is something I read because I just finished reading the Hunger Games series. I actually asked you guys what book I should read because I was kind of in that like Hunger Games stupor. Like after you read the series and you're like, no story can compare to that. That was so good. Pretty much that was me for like 2 weeks. I refused to read anything because I was just like, I can't, it's too sad. It was probably like 3 days, but anyways. And then one of you guys, I don't know, maybe a couple of you guys said, Emily, read Divergent by Veronica Roth. In Divergent, there are the factions? Okay, this is the thing about Emily. There's like these different factions that when you turn 16, you take a test and pretty much that places you in one of these factions. So like your family can be in one of them and you can be in a different one, or vice versa. Like it doesn't matter. Like you can choose, but a lot of the time people just stay with their family because that's just what they're comfortable with. So it pretty much follows the story of this girl named Beatrice who never really felt comfortable in her faction with her family because the faction she's from is the one where they're selfless. That's what they are. Abnegation is the one that she's from. So she takes this test, blah blah blah, and the lady that's doing the test for her kind of reacts strangely when the results come in, and she tells her that she's actually divergent, which means she's like she could fit into more than one faction, which is like different because not a lot of people are like that. So she doesn't think much of it, but in the end she chooses to pick the faction she decides to pick the faction Dauntless. So pretty much it's like the rebels, like they're like the people that are jumping off trains and doing crazy stuff, like they're like the daredevils. So pretty much that's what the first book is about, kind of her trying to fit in to one of the factions because she's not sure which one she is, and she doesn't know really who she is yet because she finds out she's divergent and she's not sure like if she picks the right one and all this stuff. So while she's in Dauntless, what you have to do when you come into a new faction is you have to kind of go through this process to actually make sure that you are fit for the faction, because if you're not, they will make you factionless, which pretty much just means like a homeless person on the street. And so she does all this testing, and it's pretty much in Dauntless what you have to do is kind of face all your fears and be able to fight your fears, which personally for me, I always thought about this when I was reading it. Her fears were very like, I felt very simple to understand. I think for me it would be like, definitely spiders would be in there, losing my family would be in there, and probably some of my friends as well. Like, I don't know, reading this book totally made me wonder what I'm so afraid of. So, I don't know. That was kind of a cool thing about this book. Like, it kind of made you think about how you would be in a situation. While she's in this process, she meets a guy named Four, who is kind of just this mysterious character. You don't really know him that well. He seems to be picking on her a little bit at times, or like just pointing her out to others more, obviously. In the end, though, obviously, it's kind of obvious, they end up being a couple, and I think he's 2 years older than her, which I found on the internet a lot of people saying like that Veronica Roth shouldn't have done that, but I think like 2 years is not a big difference at all, but I mean, that's just me. So she's 16 and he's 18, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So that's pretty much like the main storyline of this book, and while she's there, she kind of gets like picked on and tortured by like the other kids that are trying to be in Dauntless, and it's kind of like a scary thing because she like often gets like her life gets threatened and people get killed in her like sleeping area. About this girl, Beatrice or Triss, her character is very different from me again. She is very rebellious and she wants to prove herself, and she's very tough. I don't think that I'm that tough. Maybe I am. If I was put into that situation, I have to wonder because I'm like, I don't know how I would react. but she definitely isn't like humorous or anything. She's very serious, and yeah, they kind of describe her as just being like a small little girl, and she has like a lot of attitude, I think. But I think that she's a very good character to have a writer write about, I guess, because she's very interesting, and she's very like she's not one-sided. She has many dimensions to her, it seems, and she's very like, you don't predict what she's going to do. She's very unpredictable. So I think that's really cool. Pretty much what happens in this book, though, is that they figure out that something's kind of going on with the factions, and something kind of has started, something that they're hiding from the people, and they don't know what it is. They don't know why they're hiding it. They're not sure like what's going on. There's pretty much this wall that surrounds all of the factions, and it's locked from the outside. So it kind of makes you wonder like what's out there, like why are they locking it, like there's guards guarding it at all times. Like you have to wonder like what's happening. And in the second book they really do like show a little bit more, but the whole time they're like fighting it. And if you want me to do one on Insurgent, I can, because it's right there, and I read it. But this one is pretty much just they find out that there's a kind of a weird situation. Something's not quite right. Her parents turn out to be not exactly the people she thought they were, and not necessarily in a bad way, just kind of random. Four is not exactly who she thought he was either. And the thing that I think kept me reading a lot of the time was Four and Triss's like kind of like random fights that they would have. Like they really butted heads a lot throughout the book, which also made me really mad, because I was like, what the heck, like why are you fighting? Like I don't want to hear you fight, you guys need to get along. And that would be like kind of annoying, but like this book is so good, and I think this book has not as much action as say The Hunger Games, but it actually has more details on like what's actually going on in the story. This definitely kind of like covered all the corners of every kind of situation it went through, and was very detailed and descriptive of situations and scenarios, which I personally like because it makes me feel like I can actually like see it in my head. So if you're interested in reading this book, I definitely recommend it. I would read, you know, this book, and I would read the second book. The third book isn't out yet. It's supposed to be a trilogy. Third book isn't out. So when it comes out, I mean, I'm really excited because I love the characters in this book. I don't find them quite as lovable as The Hunger Games for me, because they're both like kind of Four and Triss are kind of rebellious, and that's not really something that I'm like. But again, Katniss is rebellious too, so I don't know. That's kind of something weird, but read this book. It's so good. You will like it. It's not a hard read at all. This again is like a young adult book, so I think it's very manageable. And if you are going to read it, tell me, and I really recommend it. It's so good. The story is so well written. Goodness, I don't even know. And yeah, just read it. Just read it. It's really good. That's my review on Divergent. If you have any other questions on this book, or if you have any other book reviews you want me to do, let me know, because I'll do them. I totally will. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye guys!